What most people don't know about foster kids and why they need to learn it, we are going to discuss those things today. A lot of people, when you think about foster kids, you may think of the kids that get in trouble, kids that you want your own children to maybe avoid or stay away from, kids that are bad or have a big history of abuse or maybe steal even. But the truth is, foster kids are so much more than that. And today I'm going to share with you the truth about foster children. Today, I'm going to talk to you about 7 truths about foster children, and stay tuned till the end for my final thoughts. Truth number 1 is that foster kids are capable and strong warriors. A lot of times we may think that we're strong, we may think that other people are strong, but the truth is strength is only determined in the middle of a trial. And these kids, they have experienced sometimes horrific trials and they have come out stronger. They have proven their strength and their endurance and their capabilities. And so these kids, foster kids, they are strong and they are capable. A lot of times people will lower the bar when it comes to foster kids. They may think that they're weak or incapable or incompetent, but the truth is these kids, they want a challenge. They will rise to whatever bar that you give them as long as it is presented in the right way. A lot of these kids have endured unbelievable nightmares, real life nightmares. Kids have slept in cars. They have not eaten sometimes for days. They've been abused or beaten, or they've seen things that you cannot even imagine. And what maybe would destroy a lot of us, you and I know me, these kids, they rise up and they press on and they fight for more. They fight for hope. And so these kids, they are warriors. It is absolutely the truth. Number 2 is that foster kids have the potential to be just as great or greater in this world as any other child. I know the statistics show that a lot of times foster kids have a really hard time. A lot of times they end up in prison or being trafficked or in prostitution. They have extremely difficult challenges. But these kids, if they are given a safe and loving foster home, if they're given permanency sooner than later, if they're given opportunities to succeed and to grow and blossom in who they are, they can be anything that they want to be. If a foster child can't do something one way, they will figure out another way to get what they want done. They are creative, out-of-the-box type of thinkers, and they have great and incredible potential because they are witty and they have wisdom and they have experiences that a lot of other people just don't. The third truth about foster kids is that these children, they have a fire in them that a lot of people honestly just don't. I know that you or I, we may say like, oh, we're strong or we're going to just shine. But the truth is, if there's water that's drenched on our fire, our light will go out. But these kids, they have learned that their fire and their flame, it doesn't come from other people. It doesn't come from their circumstances or what they're capable of or not capable of. These kids have learned to find a fire and a light and something in them that is deeper, that is sustaining, that holds them through the darkest night and keeps them strong even when they want to give up and things seem hopeless. Oftentimes, this light and this fire is the only thing that has kept foster kids warm on the darkest of nights. It is a hope that's from above that is bigger and greater than anything this world could give them. This light, if it is fanned into flames, it has the potential to change nations and to have nothing quench it because it has withstood the test of time. Number 4 is that foster kids have an incredible instinct and intuition. Often this intuition or this instinct, it has kept them alive in situations where maybe they wouldn't be safe, or maybe they would go hungry, or maybe they were going to be harmed, or someone else around them was going to be harmed. And they have an instinct, even as at a really, really young age. They learn what to do and what not to do, maybe to keep them safe, or maybe to manipulate even the situation to make sure that they are not harmed. This intuition and this instinct is something you or I often, we just don't have. Mostly because we haven't had to have it. We haven't had to fight for our survival or the survival of maybe younger siblings or parents or those that are around us. And so these kids, they develop an instinct and intuition that is beyond their years. They're wise and they're insightful and they are intuitive. And it is something that most kids, they just don't have. This intuition and instinct, often it has guided their steps. It has allowed them to be safe. It has given them an opportunity to use their voice when they've needed. And these kids, they are strong because of it. Number 5 is that foster kids learn to cling to hope as if it was the only thing that they had. Because the truth is, a lot of times, hope is the only thing that they have. They have left their family members or their neighborhoods or their schools or their friend groups, everything that they've ever known. And so they learn to have hope and they're able to have hope. And I think it just comes from that light and that fire and that spirit that God has placed in each of these children. And then not only to have hope, but to keep having hope when they move a foster placement for a reason that's really probably not even their own. When they get moved again, or a new school, or a new friend group, or a new social worker, that they trust and they keep on trusting. And yet, instead of dying out, or instead of losing hope or getting depressed, a lot of times these kids find a hope within them that is really, it's supernatural. It's just out of this world. They trust and they keep on trusting, even when to us maybe things might seem hopeless. The 6th truth about foster children is that foster children learn to adapt in an incredible way. A lot of times they can be like chameleons almost. They can go into a new environment. Maybe there's a different language or different foods or a set of rules within a household, and they can adapt. They can learn to not only be alive there and to exist, but to be funny or to thrive or to really excel in an environment that's new and foreign. And how many of us can do that? Go leave everything that we've ever known, go into a completely new environment and learn how to quickly adapt. That's a skill that foster kids learn. And often the younger they come into foster care, the more and the easier they learn this skill. It can be a skill, it can be a deficit later on in life as well in a lot of ways. But these kids, they learn to adapt. They become fluid to where they learn to evaluate their environment and then to adapt who they are maybe and even what they think to be able to fit this environment. And again, that's not always a great thing. A lot of times it can be easy for them to lose their self and who they are. But at the same time, it can also mean their survival in a foster home or survival in an environment where they know that they can be safe because they need to adapt in that environment. And so this is a skill that can be also really beneficial later in life. They go into a workplace or they go into a new school setting or they go into a new location and they can adapt and figure things out and really be aware of their environment and learn to be successful right where they are. And the 7th truth about foster children is that they are dreamers. These kids, they have incredible imaginations a lot of times. These kids, they're actually extremely intelligent. It may not maybe carry over to bookwork all the time, but these kids, their level of thinking and understanding and their depth of character and who they are is just fascinating to me as a foster parent for 14 years. I learned so much from these kids. I see them out on our property and they will explore or they will maybe play with their chickens and pretend that they're little people or their friends or make a fort out of a bunch of trees, and they can use their imaginations in ways that we can't. We've never had to just sit back and dream. We've never had to cling to hope or look to that light or that fire inside us to keep us alive. But these kids have, a lot of them are incredible writers or they can draw in incredible ways. They're maybe very theatrical. And these kids have gifts that are just waiting to come out. And most of all, these kids, they do not give up hope. They keep dreaming. When a door gets shut or a foster home moves them, they just keep on believing that they will have permanency. When maybe a birth parent fails them or doesn't show up to a visit, maybe a lot of kids would be crushed. But these kids, they keep holding out hope and they keep believing for a life that's greater than the one that they presently have. These are my final thoughts. A lot of times in this world, we underestimate foster children. We may discard them, we may ridicule them, we may ignore them or show disinterest in them. But these kids are some of the most valiant and brave and intelligent and incredible warriors that exist on the face of our planet. These kids have incredible potential to achieve incredible and surpassing things if they're just given the chance. These kids have hopes and dreams that have been just marinating in them, and all they need is for someone to come alongside them, to believe in them, to give them opportunities, and to show and direct the way. And so I encourage you, as you look around to your community, or even you consider becoming a foster parent, don't underestimate foster children. They may teach you and grow you and bless you in the most incredible ways, and you may not even know it until you have left these children and you have sat back in wonder at who they've been, these little warriors and little tiny bodies that will change the world if they're just given half the chance. Thank you so much for watching. For more videos on foster care, make sure to subscribe to this page and like it, share it with your friends, and we will see you next time. Remember, go out, live bold, and be brave.